Hello, vinyl community. Elliot here, Lazy Dogs Records. And this is one I'll call Hits and Misses, a look at some of the records I purchased over the summer with some cautionary tales, some unsolicited advice, and that sort of thing to go along with it. I got an email a while back saying that for one day there would be a half price sale at None Such Records online store. And I went in and took advantage and actually bought twice. The first round I bought with in the mind of what am I going to keep for my personal collection. Second time I went in there, I said, "Hey, if I buy some of these for half price, I may be able to sell new records at the record shows that I do coming up." So I took a second dip and got into that. What did I get? Uh, the great Emmylou Harris, "Stumble into Grace." Also, I only had this on CD, so it was nice to get a vinyl copy of Wrecking Ball. Then I got some stuff that I either knew a little bit about or had one or two records by or didn't know anything about. The Punch Brothers. I have one other Punch Brothers record. This is called Anti-Fog Nation. And of course, Chris Thiel is the leader of the band, although everybody in here are top-notch acoustic ensemble players. Uh, how do you describe what the Punch Brothers and Chris Thiel do? I have decided that uh, we should call this music uh, homeschooler grass. Homeschooler grass, that's right. Very precise, but maybe a little analytical and not of the common man, I guess you'd say. Thus, homeschooler grass. Okay, it's good, but it's a little different. And I got this uh, Lake Street Dive. It's an interesting band. I uh, have a friend that really loves them and recommended them to me, and I have one of their albums and I enjoy it. But the lead singer, Rachel Price, pictured here, is really a treasure. What a great singer! And this is an album that she did a few years back with this gentleman, who I have no earthly idea, I don't know anything about, Vile Ray, Vilray, Vile Ray, and he wrote these songs. She sings them, and he sings along on some of them. But these are songs that he wrote, and I was very impressed with this kind of a smoky lounge jazz feel on this album. Anybody know much about Vile Ray? Please in the comments tell me more about him. And finally, uh, John at Digital Gramophone has recommended this artist several times. She goes by the name Hooray for the Riff Raff, but it's really just her. And this is "The Past is Still Alive," kind of like a William Faulkner quote from decades and decades ago. Not exactly the same, but "Hooray for the Riff Raff." And this is an interesting. I've only listened to it once. Very interesting, nice lyrics, and musical accompaniment is good. She's interesting, and I'm going to delve deeper into her catalog. John, as I said, has promoted her on several of his videos, and he is 100% correct. Doesn't she look like Aubrey Plaza, the actress from uh, Parks and Recreation and several movies? That's who she looks like right there in that video. So those are some half price sale records that I have picked up online from the None Such website. Now that was a 1 day sale. So you got to monitor your email and you got to kind of pay attention to find things like that. But it can really be a valuable service. Now, I don't go to record stores very often. I live in a small town and I'm an hour away from the nearest record store. So, unless I'm going to Raleigh or Fayetteville or Durham for a doctor's appointment or some other need I have to go into the city, uh, I don't really go by there that often. So what I really enjoy are record shows. And in fact, for the last 2.5 years or so, I've been working record shows. Actually, I believe it's about 2 years. I've been going and setting up at record shows and selling, and I've really enjoyed that. One of the great things about record shows is 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 you find some things that you because you've got so many different sellers bringing their records to the show, unlike a record store, which might say specialize in punk and metal or be really attuned to the jazz music or something like that. Uh, it each vendor may have areas which they're strong in. So you can find stuff. And the only record show we've had this summer is that I've worked at has been the Wilson Record Show. Always enjoy doing the Wilson show, and it was the seller beside me at the last two Wilson record shows. We've struck up a good conversations each time, and uh, she had uh, a collection that she had gotten from somebody and had some really great records. I ended up getting two from her, two Steve Young records, these two, and got them for a fair price. I don't go on Discogs or anything and check what the going price is for things when I'm at a record show. I know some people do. They have their phone out and they do all that sort of stuff. But I can pretty much gauge what something, generally speaking, is worth, unless it's got something about it that makes it uh, highly, much more expensive than your average pressing of a record. So when I went home and checked, yep, I got them for a little less than what I would have paid online for them, and I feel like less than I would have paid at a record store. But Steve Young, one of the interesting and creative singer songwriters. Most of you know him for the Seven Bridges Road song. So, online patience is a virtue. Here's an example. Record store day. This was about a $55 record. Uh, this is repress with added bonus material from 1972's Morning Bugle by John Hartford. I have an original copy of Morning Bugle, but it is in VG minus condition at best. It sounds like refined bacon. So I've been on the lookout for a better copy. And when this came out on record store day, I didn't want to pay 60, 55, 60 bucks for it. So I put it on my want list on Discogs and I watched the price. And that's my unsolicited advice. Things you really want, be patient, put them on your want list and monitor your want list. Monitor the prices people are asking. Sure enough, people were asking $80 or $90 for this album right after record store day, trying to take advantage of FOMO. People said, "Oh man, I missed out on record store day. I really need that record." That's how I was. I really need this record, but I had to show patience. So gradually the price came down a little bit. And then it got to more like the asking price on record store day. You saw people asking on Discogs 60 bucks for it. Still some people asking 80 bucks for it. But occasionally you'd see a 60 buck or a 50 buck uh, price on one of these. I waited and I waited and I didn't pull the trigger. And then guess what? Pops up on my email from Discogs. New items in your want list, 40 bucks, or make an offer. And this was from a brick and mortar in Delaware, I believe it was. And I said, what the heck? I'm not going to give you $40 for it, but why don't I make an offer? So I offered $34, thinking they probably wouldn't take it, and they took it. So this just came yesterday. $34. Really, this showing a little patience got me this great album at a much more reasonable price. Now, another example of that would be this record. Now, do you remember in about 10 or 11 years ago on HBO, there was a special documentary about the new basement tapes lost on the river. And it was very interesting, and the music was really interesting. What it consisted of were uh, snippets of songs, lyrics that Bob Dylan had jotted down but never finished. And with Dylan's permission, T Bone Burnett uh, took that material and he assembled uh, 5 or 6 artists to come in and spend some time trying to develop those, flesh those ideas out into songs. So they would be co-writes with Bob Dylan without Bob actually being there. And Elvis Costello was in on this, Rhiannon Giddens, uh, the guy from Dawgs, a guy from Munford and Son, and there were about 5 or 6 of them that did this. This record online is selling a new mint condition, sealed one, selling for 120, $140. I'm not going to pay that kind of money. So I waited, had it on my want list, and kept watching. And eventually, a brick and mortar, Plaid Room Records out of Ohio posted one for $45 with a caveat. Bent corners and seam split, sealed. Okay. Well, I'm not one of those people that gets that picky. So I said, for $45, the cheapest I see is 120. For $45, I can live with some bent corners and a seam split I can fix myself. So I ordered it. Now, it's always good when you've got shipping costs. If you can get more than one record for the same shipping, if you see something you really like there, go ahead and add that to your collection of to your order. And but now don't buy something just because you're trying to save on shipping if you don't really want it. That's the danger there. But I wanted this. I had this on CD, but I wanted the album. Her first, Lucinda Williams' first album, "Rambling on My Mind," on Smithsonian Folkways with the classic Smithsonian uh, setup, jacket. And this is a repress from 2020, probably. Yep, 2020. Originally came out in '79. They commissioned her to do blues and folk and gospel. Uh, so, of course, you're taking a chance. This was listed, again, as I say, with severe issues. But the vinyl, it was sealed, and the vinyl was assumably with no problems. I get it. And do you see anything wrong with this record? I get it. And the seam split is not a seam split, it's a nick right here. So the black just nicked, you see a little white piece right there. Right there where you see it. That's it. Does that bother you? That doesn't bother me. Corner, corner creases, corner bumps. There's your corner bump right there. You see that? That's it. That's it. Why is a record jacket square and an album round? Because the corners protect the record. Folks, there's nothing wrong with this record. And I played it, and it is great. The Lucinda Williams record, I already knew because I had the CD. It is excellent as well. So Some online patience is a virtue. Now, next we'll address bulk buying. And you can get a lot of good music buying in bulk. Obviously, you're not going to go out and buy new releases, new pressings that are normally $50 records, $40, $30 records, uh, and be able to buy in bulk. But there are so many records out there in this world that you can pick up for a couple of bucks. And one way to buy in bulk is online, finding a big brick and mortar that has warehouse of records, and they're trying to make room, get rid of stock, which they have either an overabundance of particular records, or they have, um, you know, uh, stuff they know is going to take probably a long time to move. It might be a record worth $10, but if it takes 2 years to sell it, is it worth sitting, taking up space? I priced at $10. If you price it at $2 and you sell it in a month, then bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, folks. So uh, I'll give you a tip, and I'm a nice guy, so I'm gonna tell you this. I hope you don't end up getting all the good records because I tell you when I go there next time to shop. But a place I go 2 or 3 or 4 times a year online on Discogs is Philadelphia Music. And they price a lot of records like that because they buy evidently tons and tons of collections in the metropolitan Philadelphia area, and you've only got so much room. So when I go on Discogs and I find a seller like this, I'll use my parameters. Okay. First, I'll go to vinyl. I'm just looking for records. Then I'll go to condition VG plus. Okay. Then I'll go to uh, under $5, and then I'll go to a genre, and I'll search by genre and see what I can find. And oftentimes I find records for $1.75, $2.50, $3.25 that are excellent records. Now, remember, I've told them I'm looking for VG plus records, and I'm able to find a lot. I'll end up buying the last time I ended up buying 79 records. Originally bought 80 records, but they couldn't find one of them, which happens every once in a while when you're talking about a big warehouse like that. 79 records, and it cost me $188. So you do the math. That's not much per record. So I was able to get a lot of really good stuff. Just three examples. Ma Rainey, the Paramounts chronically, 1923, 1924. This is volume one. I have Bessie Smith. I have C.P. Wallace. I did not have any Ma Rainey, and here I got this for such a good price. And you can see the condition of the jacket. Cleaned it up, and it is definitely VG plus. Uh, Staple Singers, Stax Records. Yeah, less than $2. This is Be What You Are. So this is prime period for them. This, wonderful record, and I didn't pay much for it. Red Clay Ramblers, popular, very eclectic, rootsy type group. I know the band members, the names of the various band members. I recognize Mike Craver, and this is called Fishing for More. It's on Flying Fish Records. I know Flying Fish Records, the Chicago label, as being a great label. I believe that's Sir Walter Raleigh right there. And so this is a piano album by a member of the Red Clay Ramblers. So there's just quick little examples. Now, another thing is at record shows. At record shows, you can go uh, and as I've been a regular at record shows and then started selling a couple of years ago, I developed relationships with various people at the record shows, and they know what I like, and I know what they're looking for. And oftentimes, if it's not a genre that they specialize in, you can get really good prices for that. Now, there's one particular seller. He knows I like bluegrass, I like folk, I like blues, I like R&B. So when he's trying to unload records out of his collection to make room for more records, he'll make sure he knows I'll be at the show. He'll bring a couple of boxes and he'll have them marked for $3 or $2. And before the show, he'll see me and say, "Hey, Elliot, come here." He says, "I got what you want right here. Check them out." And every time I do, I'll end up buying 20 or 30 records, maybe more from him. And instead of it being $3, he'll say, "You buy a bunch, we'll drop price." I usually get them for less than $2 a record. And so in this case, he had a lot of blues, a lot of blacktop label blues, Anson Funderburk and Sam Myers, harmonica player. Another one, Talk to You by Hand. Both these on Black Cat. Ronnie Earl. Ronnie Earl and the broadcasters, they call me Mr. Earl. And this is on Black Top. I said cat, Black Top. It's on Black Top as well. And on Rounder Records, this is the best one. This really plays near mint. I'll never call it a near mint because it's a used record. It's going the best it can do is a VG plus. But the man room full of blues. Duke Rubenard used to be the guitar player for them. This is a Rounder Records release from I think like 88, 89, something like that. 87. And it's called Swing. And while he's normally an R&B and blues guitarist, he really delves into the nice swing sound on this album. And cleaned this up and played this. Like I said, near mint. But most importantly, plays beautifully. It's sonically very appealing. It sounds really good on this stereo. And the music, which is it's the music, stupid. Remember, the music, the most important thing, is really, really good. So those are some examples. You can also go to record stores and be on the lookout for stuff they're trying to unload, and you can find some great things. So those are some highlights, some hits from this summer's record buying. Next, the misses, and there are not a lot of misses, but a couple of cautionary tales for you. Uh, Online buying. Uh, don't get in a hurry. Sometimes you feel like you have to get in a hurry. I was at a record store website where they had dropped a bunch of records down to $8, new seal records, and there was a frenzy as people were going to the site as they dropped and purchasing them, and I was involved in that. And as I would put records in my cart, you get 10 records put in your cart, and then you look and suddenly your cart says you got 6 records. So double check before you hit purchase whenever you die. So there's a case of slow down a little bit. For instance, I went back to the half price none such sale, which was one day and it ended on Thursday at noon. It started at noon on Wednesday and ended Thursday. So I had bought records the night before and was in no hurry. Got the 5 records I showed you earlier. Then I got to thinking about it. I could get some of these records and resell them at the show as new sealed records and make a little bit of money from them. So I start buying, ordering some of them, and I ended up getting 8 or 10 records or something like that. And I hit purchase, and only after I'd hit purchase did I realize that I got not one but 2 more copies of this Hooray for the Riff Raff record. So I'm gonna have to I'm gonna sell both of them. Hopefully they'll sell pretty good. Um, Another example is when I was buying from in bulk, uh, and you buying, I ended up 79 records this last time. You have to be careful because read the details. Okay. Now this was a VG Plus record. They were all VG Plus. I got the two record album, Chambers Brothers album. And your rock records tend to not have as many of those in there, VG Plus, so the selection's not as great, for the rock records because they just sell for more money than other genres normally. So it should have been a red flag that Chambers Brothers record was, $1.79 or something like that. I go back after I purchased them and realize that it says down there only one of the two records are in there. FOMO is always a concern when it comes to record buying. And I normally don't get caught up in the FOMO, but every once in a while it happens. So be careful. This box set, Orange Yvonne, I think it was about $89 on Record Store Day. I'm not getting up and driving an hour and then sitting in line for hours to get in to get this. So obviously I don't go to Record Store Day. Uh, and I knew, there would be plenty for sale afterwards. Now you have flippers that go out and I'm not a flipper like that. I don't do that. But you have people that try to buy this stuff knowing that people will be wishing they'd been able to get it uh, afterwards, and they jack up the prices. Okay, uh, so these prices went up, crazy prices. 150, $170 people were trying to get for them. Most people didn't get them. But I knew if it was $89, you had in your tax and your shipping and everything, it was going to be cost me about $100. Uh, but I saw one in the first week after it come out for, 110, 112. And I said, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and get it. I know I'm paying a little bit more than retail for it, but it's not an unreasonable price. So I got it, but I kept it on my want list and have kept watching. And these prices now, a few months after Record Store Day, I have seen it as low as $79. And a lot of them for um, $85. So right at same as or within a couple of dollars below or above what they sold for retail, originally. So I should have waited, but I got caught up just like everybody else does sometimes in FOMO. So here it has been a look at the records I've gotten this summer, and some of them, not all of them by any means. And I hope you enjoyed getting a look at some records. And I'll remind everybody, please be kind to your neighbors. Folks, love your neighbors. We're all neighbors in this world. Show love, not anger, resentment, or hate. Take care.